I see you like doing your little, we're live, your little wiggle in your chair. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, this is an episode. This is yet another episode where we do get to see Captain Sisko fawn over a little baby. So
Woo!
if that's your jam, then this is your episode. So yes, welcome everybody. We are watching Deep Space Nine this week. And the episode we're watching is season 5, episode 22, Children of Time. So if you have not already done so, go ahead and cue it up
Do
and
that
get ready
sucker
to
up.
watch. That's right. But we're not going to start watching quite yet. We're going to do our beginning of the show chitter chatter. What is that? What is this?
Tradition.
Oh, yes.
Da-da-da-da.
Tradition. But yeah, so how are you, Dana?
I am tired. Are you
I
surprised?
do I even need to ask? I should start.
Well,
I should start asking, how tired are you today? I should just presume that tiredness is part of it.
today was a very full day, but it was full of good things and
Good.
mostly almost entirely successful. So today we did our first like reading aloud, like read out loud, not popcorn reading, but go in order. And I had one student weasel their way out of it, and only one. So I was really proud of it. I was really happy with that. Because the resistance to it has increased. It sharp uptick after COVID. Just I'm not entirely certain whether it's because there are more students who are anxious about that kind of thing, or just that more students are willing to be open about their anxiety and be like, haha, no, forget you, I'm not doing this, which is also a possibility. But I'm really happy with the idea that I got over our long weekend, because it snowed Friday, and they called it Thursday afternoon, like literally 2 minutes before the bell. We got the email, and I was like, all right, everybody, que tenga buen fin de semana, which means have a great weekend. And so my Spanish speakers, I got real big real fast, and everybody else is kind of looking around. And yeah, so yeah, we were out Friday and Monday, and had a delayed start yesterday, so it was a lot. But then over the weekend, I got an idea of how to adjust this. So what I did was I took all the paragraphs apart and put like double returns in between them, and then numbered every single sentence, just sentence. So each sentence had its own line, and it's numbered. And then I went around and had students just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just count up till everybody had a number. And then I was like, okay, so your number is the sentence that you're going to do. And then I passed out the papers, and I had them read the sentences to just like small groups, and went around. And actually, I was surprised, because I said, I'll come around and help. But if you get to a word, or especially if there's a name in there and you don't know how to say it, just give it your best guess. One of them mentions Stanford programming legend Donald Knuth, Knuth. And I was like, that could be Knuth, Knuth, Nuth, or Nuth.
Yeah.
Any of those pronunciations is valid. Smith, however, would not be a reasonable
We pretty
guess.
much say that one way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not only that, but like there's no S there. So, it needs to be a reasonable guess. And I had very few students say, or I had a couple. One wasn't sure how to pronounce thesaurus. I'm like, okay. So the dinosaur with a really long thing, brontosaurus, and she was like the really big, and she just cut me off and said tyrannosaurus. I'm like, that wasn't the one I was thinking of, but that
no, you
part at the
foolish
end,
child.
that part, well, I didn't get to, I just like really big, and she, well, the tyrannosaurus is really big, so, but she, she jumped in because she, I was like, okay, that's saurus at the end, so it's like the saurus. And she goes, oh, okay. And then I had a couple others. Nuance was in there, and I was like, well, what do you think it is? And I think she nuance, I think she put the accent on the second syllable. I was like, that's great, awesome,
close enough.
And so yeah, they did really, really well.
It's just, I guess it's just getting them comfortable enough to try it. And
Yep.
like if you
And also,
mispronounce something, that's not the end of the world. That's okay. That's what this is for, right?
So Snake Cat says, in this case, the KNU in Smith is silent, and the S comes from the K is pronounced like an S
Yeah.
in this case.
It's
KN
just
is SM.
it's just one of those learned pronunciation things from English. You just
Exactly.
have to remember it. Before you keep going, I just want to acknowledge there. Streaming Meanie has a quick question off topic. Wants to know about the Batman Cape Crusader animated series from Amazon earlier this year, or I guess last year. Hey, Steve had a quick off topic question about the Cape Crusader. I kind of crapped out after the Clayface episode and was wondering if it got any better. Nope.
Aw.
Not for me. I mean, maybe there's the opinions on it seem kind of mixed, but I didn't really think it got any better after that episode. Jason and I ended up watching all 10 episodes, but we stopped reviewing it after like episode 6, I think. It was like, do you want to keep doing this? No.
No.
So
but
no,
you kept watching it anyway because why exactly?
Because I didn't want to let it win. I started it.
See, we disagree about what counts as winning here. Like my thought is, if you allow the show to continue hurting you, then it's winning.
That's not hurting me. It's just a bad show. It's not.
It's just making you unhappy.
No, not even that. I mean, that's an awfully profound response. No, it's just. I mean, now if they, I think that they have.
You could be using that time to watch something else, something you might like more. But I could. No.
I think they're doing at least one more season, and unless I hear that season 2 is really good, I'll probably skip that just because it's like, no, I'm good.
So yeah,
synecdoche. Now that's a good word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a word that if you've only seen it, you might be like, and you're tired, you might call it synecdoche, which I did.
Yeah, which you did. Yeah.
And I said it with such confidence that another English teacher said, "Oh, I thought it was synecdoche." I'm like, it probably is. I don't know.
It's like, if I'm the only person you've ever heard say it synecdoche, then just assume I'm wrong.
Yep. So
Streaming Meanie says usually DC animated content is a bit better than whatever that was supposed to be. How can Kite Man and Cape Crusader live in the same house? Well, they're produced by completely different teams. I mean, the production team for Batman the Cape Crusader and the team that does Harley Quinn and the Kite Man spinoff are, it's, as far as I know, there's, other than probably like some producers or executive producers, like the actual writers and creators of it, I don't think there's any crossover. And yeah, the Harley Quinn cartoon, which has a new season coming out, I think next week, and Kite Man, which was a spinoff of that. Yeah, they're just outstanding. I mean, they could hardly be any better at this point.
So yeah, I had one student who asked to use the restroom. I guess she could, like, right after we counted off, and then didn't come back. And I'm like, you know, it wasn't like forever, but I'm like, somebody saw what was coming down the pike. Okay.
They were like, I'm not doing this.
You. Yep. So yeah. Yeah, so I was really happy with that. Yeah. And it's just, but it meant staying on top of them, you know, because the ones who aren't reading out loud are supposed to be reading along silently and just, you know, not talking to your neighbor. Keep reading the article. The point is to read the entire thing. Oof. So, and then just getting everybody, it's still the beginning of the term because I had new students in January. So I've got some students who weren't here last week who are here, and, you know, some students who are absent. So figuring out this student needs that and that student needs this, so that everybody's logged into Google Classroom and our grammar program and our vocabulary program. And they have now made an account on Goodreads so that we can connect asynchronously with our independent reading books. And it's like, and this and this and this and this. And then also I'm giving lessons on grammar and reading, and just, it's a lot.
Sounds like a lot.
So yeah,
sounds like a lot.
But yeah, it's good, kind of tired today.
Well, it's I'm glad if there's going to be tired, I'm glad it's good tired and not like emotionally exhausted
Oh,
Why
gosh,
am I
yeah.
doing this with my life? Tired.
Wow. Yeah, yesterday when we had the delayed start, the schedule is just awful. Like, they just compress the first half of the day, and then the rest of the day is normal because the buses have to go around to different schools. So the dismissal is the same, but that means that like the buses can't get here before a certain time, but the lunch has to be served by a certain time. Like, we can't push the lunch back forever. So that means morning classes are half length, which means my planning period is half length.
Yeah.
So I'm scrambling around getting these books, which I just assigned their books, their independent reading books on Thursday, and I'm trying to get all of them back on the bookshelf. Plus, we also didn't have bookshelves at the end of last semester because the rooms got flooded, and we just got them in at the beginning of this semester. So anyway, and then I get told that I'm supposed to be covering a class during my planning period. Now, we only cover during half of the planning period, but guess what? The planning period is only half a planning period long.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to be there the whole time. And I'm like, so my first was, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm so sorry I missed the email. You know, I wasn't at my computer. I'm doing this. And then I look around the room. I'm like, I can't be there for the entire time. I've got students coming.
Right.
I can't.
I've got shit to do.
Well, I don't mind when it's like lesson planning or there are a number of things that I can do in somebody else's room.
But you had like a physical thing in your classroom
but
that you had
books
to do.
onto shelves, not so much. And it was the freshmen coming in. Had it been my sophomores, maybe it would have been okay. The freshmen, no.
Yeah. Le Epic Gamer says, I'm gonna be honest, the most I know about Star Trek is that Day of Hell is shit. Lesbians simp over at least one character, and there's one ship that bisects itself to fire a tactical advantage. Well, you know pretty much all the basics. That's all the important stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that stuff. I mean, I'll take your word for it, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know that lesbians simp over at least one character? There are two very popular characters with lesbians in the show we're watching in Deep Space Nine. There are two, at least, probably more, but at least two very prominent Deep Space Nine characters that are very popular with the lesbians in the fan base.
Here's the thing. I've never heard the word simp used to refer to what, like, in this case, lesbians do. Like, it's always been a dude thing. So I'm guessing it means the same thing, but I was like, does that mean... Okay.
Don't you believe in equality? Don't you believe that you know that deep down we're all the same and we all? But
simping usually implies like actually being able to interact with somebody, and you can't do that with a character. Anyway, I was confused by it, but I think the phrasing of it. Anyway. But yeah, I can see. I mean, there are female characters, so
is it? Air One Fire says so. Dax is the other one. Sorry, what were you gonna? Yeah.
So, who all are the female characters in DS9? So we've got Dax is female right now, and
yes.
Oh gosh.
The second lead, who is
Kira.
There you go.
Okay, do we have any other female characters?
Well, there's Keiko.
Okay.
There's Lita.
Yeah.
There's Kai Wynn.
Yeah, no.
On the villainous side.
On the annoying side, let's be honest. Yeah, nobody's simping for Kai Wynn. Yeah, I think. Yeah, see, Liz, I'm thinking that. I'm thinking it's probably, not the mom, not the mom, and not the church lady. I'm guessing it's the other three.
Oh yeah, there's Ishka. Yeah, there's Moogie, Quark and Rom's mom.
Yeah, again, not the mom.
The female changeling, which I don't. Well, no, I think we've seen her in an episode that we've watched, but she hasn't become like a regular character quite yet. Yeah. David Corrigan, Win Ratchet. I love her so much. I love Louise Fletcher as an actor. I love Kai Wynn as a character. She's absolutely detestable. Like she's just oh, she's
I
such a great character. Oh,
so
Cassidy, yes, Cassidy.
What's Cassidy?
Cassidy Yates, Cisco's girlfriend.
Oh, right. Okay, got her. Had to think for a little bit. So I always thought of movie is spelled that looks like that.
You're overthinking it.
That I didn't have to
Movie.
overthink it. Like when they said it, like, and if talking about it and not having subtitles on, that's how it looks in my head. I don't know.
Okay.
So Liz Hills, exactly. There always is.
There's
So I also want to talk about big actual like real news.
Okay. Yes.
Very thankful for the ceasefire.
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
very frustrated that it couldn't just be like, okay, now. Like now. Why do we have to wait till it's freaking Wednesday? Why are we waiting till Sunday? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they always, I mean, that's the way that seems like that's the way it always goes. It's like, okay, we finally agreed on peace starting in a week. And it's like, can't we've agreed. Can't we just go ahead and do it?
Like, I think I can understand, like, you have to get the message out. That's fine. And it's not fair for one side to get the message first and then the other side still be like bombing the crap out of them. But
yeah, like how long does that take in today's modern age? Yeah.
8 p.m. tomorrow, or 12 hours from now. That's plenty of time. Should be plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's the 21st century.
Yeah. Caitlin, yes, there is. Now, it's not permanent.
Yeah.
I think it's only supposed to last like 40 days or something. But there is a provisional agreement in place for it to move on to a second stage at the end of this first. So hopefully it holds up and hopefully, it does lead to a permanent peace, but we will see. But for now, it's definitely very good news.
Yes. So yeah, very glad about that. Little bit salty about not right away, but
well, and I mean, or not like a year ago. I mean, if we're gonna go down that road, like it's it's been going on far too long,
a long time
as it is. I mean, yeah, and it's disappointing that we as a nation did not use our leverage to force it much earlier, which I think we probably could have, or at least we could have done more than we did. But at least it's good news today. So
shall I explain how we do this thing?
Yes, and then let's watch this episode.
Ooh. So y'all had plenty of time to get this episode queued up. It is season 5, episode 22.
You are right.
You're amazing.
You remembered the season and number of the episode. You are amazing.
So, get the episode queued up, and then make sure that you are all the way back at. So you might have to go back a little bit at 0000, because then you're gonna put your little cursor or whatever you're using, your remote, right at the play button, so that when Steve says 3, 2, 1, play, we can all press play at the same time and watch together. If you are a few seconds off, not a big deal, because we're just kind of watching. We will all be watching for times of silence when somebody pops on and goes, what the hell is this? We're just, it's like kind of the opposite of ASMR. I mean, there is like, it's pizza night, so, I've got pizza, but like in between, we're just staring at the screen and then occasionally reacting to the chat.
Exactly.
But if you get like way off, if you have to restart your computer or something, you can check the time code up there and then resynchronize it. I think that's everything.
I think you're right.
All right.
Okay, everybody, get ready. I'll count us in just like Dana said. And when I say play, we'll all hit play and we'll watch Children of Time.
Woohoo!
Okay, here we go. You ready?
I'm so ready. I hope everybody else is too.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play. I don't care about you solids and your disgusting mating rituals.
You're weird.
Caitlin, yeah. Your priest tells you to break up, so you do.
David C. Drake, I think it's pretty clear. Kira, because she's single.
Yeah, unless you want to have to deal with Worf if he hears that you have a thing for Jadzia.
Rudimentary kind of a lathe. A lathe? Unusual ones. Jeez. But Liz, what if they say yes?
Shouldn't you have done that before?
You know, other
Yeah,
season 5.
Yeah, season 5, me no other. Episode 22.
You broke the emotional dampeners on purpose.
On purpose. Welcome to the village from Star Trek Insurrection. I love how he turns right and looks at Dax. Like, do you see what you've gotten us into?
So Kira's gonna want to stay, right?
You just have to watch.
Caitlin, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you know, that's like replicators watching your diet for you. That's not very interesting for a TV show. Unless the character is like rebelling against it or something, you know? Like you've turned on the diet function on your replicator and it's giving you a hard time.
You're just gonna turn that sucker off.
Like that might be a fun plot, but like, yeah. I mean, the more Star Trek characters act just like normal people, to me, the better it is.
Yes. Now back off.
I'm about 10 seconds from doing it right now. Molly's the mean girl. We're not a very creative bunch.
Didn't they say 200 years?
Yeah.
Good. Kids are obedient. I like it here.
I'll just put him in this maple syrup warmer I've brought with me for some reason.
I am so confused. So this is
What
like
are you?
the Odo from 200 years ago. Is like same dude.
Yeah. Yes.
Okie dokie.
Yes. That's right, Caitlin. It's Daddy Odo.
It's Oldo. Awkward.
It took me 200 years to find my confidence.
I mean, maybe not. It just, took him 2 weeks and then she was dead.
And then she was dead!
Oh, daddy.
There you go.
Or maybe, oh yeah. Exactly, David Sudrake. Kirak, I like that. I like that phrasing. Just into my bed.
There's the baby. Who's not going to be erased from existence? Who's not going to be erased?
David Cedric. Hi.
Ah, they're classic Trek Klingons.
Expository dialogue.
They seem really cool.
Congratulations, Caitlin. I know what it feels like to be like, I found the thing. It's so nice.
O'Brien's face is just amazing.
Thanks. Shove off.
What are you staring at, you little wretches? We buried you here under this giant batarang.
Is it making you feel really strange, or is that the effect of getting zapped? Because
Maybe my brain's starting to melt.
no, I don't think, Kara, I don't think that works. Rocks aren't so pushy.
I have gotten pretty awesome, I know.
Of course, you'll die before he does. I really don't know how long do Bajorans are like humans in their lifespan. I'm
As far as we
guessing.
know, yeah. Yeah. How do you like Daddy Oto's Princess Bride inspired wardrobe there?
Oh, I'll take your word for it.
It doesn't give you Princess Bride vibes.
It's a shirt and pants.
I love that behind the back toss from Cisco.
Nerd.
What a boss. What a boss.
Yeah, Norman, I was thinking that as well. I mean, that's kind of a commander's, you know, obligation. It's not the whole, you know, thingy
Yeah.
bob that what's her name had to do, and she decided she didn't want to be captain.
Troy.
Deanna Troy. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, he's trying to win an argument, okay?
Yeah, we can tell because he's enunciating a lot. Chomp, 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 Avery.
Air One Fire, the next review batch is going to be courtroom episodes.
I mean, can't they just say, well, you know, our ancestors are going back and we won't get to see them anymore?
We won't get to see anybody anymore. Us too. Worf's like, oh, I'll stab you, just not right here. I'll kill the hell out of you if that's what you want. I am absolutely down with killing you. I wanted to see my memorial battering one more time. Daddy Odo don't like that. They don't need you that much.
That would not be true. I mean, he the boss. Yeah, Liz, exactly.
It's your last day of existence. Take it off, people. Bring the other Klingons that we never see for budgetary reasons.
Yeah, Liz, I'm sort of with you. Trees, Mr. I love the ants. Jeez. Obviously.
Delicious edible trees.
I talked to a child. Delcata, I am very happy to say I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Miles moved on. Why can't Odo? They ain't even got kids.
So, thoughts?
So, I mean, yeah. Especially, having played Tina for a while now.
Oh, yes, a very time
I think
travel character. Yes.
yeah, it also it came up in chat. Somebody said that their the first crash, they just crashed. Like there's no apparent record of this conflict. Like they have all these memories, all these records of the original settlers, but no record of, and apparently there's, we've been expecting you. So but there's no, so there's this is when the crash, this is when the original landing happened.
Right.
But Kirok, quick answer, no. Shoot, people change a lot in like a matter of months. 200 years? Yeah, that's a lot. That's you're really different in that
He's had lots of experiences that, exactly.
So anyway. So my thought is, even if they go and they follow the flight path, there's no way to be sure that this is going to be what happens, because they've already altered it by interacting with these people, which apparently they didn't before.
Yeah.
So it's all a wash. Like if you know how to get out of it, then that is, and you can, then your choice of whether to do it or not, that's what's, that is the future. Their existence, their future existence is not an issue, Yeah. I'm kind of like with Snake McCat here. They exist within that time loop.
Yeah. Air One Fire says there's no way they actually stopped existing, except that's explicitly what the episode says.
Yes, that is. Yeah, that is. That was.
If you want to imagine, if you want to have like a headcanon that no, they still exist in some parallel timeline. Okay, but just recognize you are making that up. That is not what the episode says, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's fiction, so the rules are whatever the writers say it is. So if in the episode they're, the Defiant not going back in time means that all those people never existed, regardless of whatever contradictions that brings up, because someone mentioned like, oh, if they took pictures of the settlers, would the pictures be blank now? Or how, and if the people they met never existed, how can they remember meeting them? Like there's all kinds of like paradoxes and contradictions that come up from stories like this, but that doesn't really matter. The fact remains it's fiction. The story says they never existed, therefore they never existed.
Okay, so Air and Fire, I'm guessing you're talking about Miles's change of heart. So not 100% sure, but that would be my guess, because he's really the only one who seems to change his mind. Everybody else stays pretty consistent with what they want.
Yeah. So what do you think of the solution that they tried to carry out for their dilemma, and then how it was sort of taken out of their hands and reversed at the last second?
I thought that was clever on the part of the writers, that this dude was.
They choose to save them, but then they end up not saving them.
Yeah. They choose to save them because they think, it's a compromise. Well, not even a compromise. It's a solution. Everybody gets, they get both options, and then they find out, oh no, both options is not an option. Ironically.
Yeah. No, I like how, for me at least, the dilemma presented to them does not have an easy solution. There isn't one choice that is obviously the right choice. And I like that the story does not give them an escape hatch. There's no way there's no magical Star Trek solution where they can have their cake and eat it too. They tease that early on, where he says, look, you can duplicate the ship with quantum blah, 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 and technobabble, and then you can escape, and a duplicate will go back in time and found the colony, and we'll get to be here, and you'll get to go off and live your life. They tease that for about 5 minutes, and then it turns out, nope, that's not going to work. But so now they have to choose.
If you know anything about, it's not even, it's not a real tease, because like just based on the pacing of the episode. That's where, you know, if it was a real tease, there would have been more tension to it, you know? Otherwise, the story just, you know, oh, they go, and then it works out just nicely. Yay, boring. So, you know, yeah. And then the same sort of thing, you know, they're not going to stay.
Like, right, exactly. Because it's like, because somebody in the chat, or I think it was David, asked, you know, what would the show have been like if they had stayed? Well, there would have been no show. That's why, you know, you know, after even watching the episode the first time, yes.
They would have called it Deep Space Planet.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, you know, that from you know they're not going to keep doing a Star Trek show where the premise is, and then they were thrown back in time 200 years to some backwater nowhere planet, and the rest of the show is going to be them just founding a colony. You know, like that's not going to be the show. So, you know, even if it's your first time ever watching this episode, they're leaving this planet at the end. Whatever happens to these people is up in the air. But the main characters are leaving this planet at the end.
Yeah, if you're at all familiar with episodic storytelling, you know.
Yeah. But so yeah, I liked the writing of O'Brien in this one a lot. I like that, you know, we are told through the testimony of the other Dax that O'Brien was the last one to kind of accept their situation and have kids with someone else. Like, he was the last one to give up on ever returning to his old life. And Miles is the last one to come around, you know, at the end as well. Like, he's the one all the way through. He's like, no, we're leaving. I'm sorry. It's too bad that all these people are going to go away, but I got to get home. I got to get home to my wife and kids. And then he's the last one, you know, he has that interaction, and it's because he has an interaction with a child, which I love. He's because we always talk about Cisco being a dad. Miles is a dad too. And he has an interaction with this child. And yes, it is one of his descendants, but I mean, that's less important to me than the fact that he's talking to a child who he is going to be at least partially responsible for erasing from existence. And he's face to face with it. And he's like, I can't do it. Like, I can't, I can't erase these people. I don't have the heart to do that. And I love that, you know, I love that. So yeah. When Air One Fire, I mean, it's not so, go ahead.
It felt forced to me. I mean, I'm willing to accept it for the sake of the narrative, but yeah, it felt forced. It didn't very, very like who was saying about the emotional beats? Yeah, Caitlin. I enjoyed what they were attempting to do, but it was very much okay, I'll grant you this a lot. It just didn't feel authentic to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely like O'Brien's change of heart is definitely late. But it doesn't feel forced to me. I mean, I recognize that it's contrived dramatically because it happens, you know, at the moment of maximum drama, where it's like basically at the last possible moment that he could change his mind, he changes his mind, you know? No. So it's contrived in that sense, but
it's at the last possible moment for the show.
That's what I mean, Dana. That's what I mean. What are we talking about?
they could have finished the episode without having had him change his mind, and but I mean, and also Air One Fire said, I didn't care about the people at all. To me, that's kind of secondary. I mean, it's not important for me whether or not you care about the descendants as individuals, as people. It's more just, it's what they represent. And it's the idea of there's this whole community of people that will cease to exist if we do the thing that is best for us in the immediate moment. And that's really the choice, is do you choose what's best for you, or do you knowingly do what is the thing you would prefer not to do, because they know they're going to, that's the other thing. They know except for Kira, they know they're all going to be okay.
they're not going to have the lives they wanted. They're not going to be able to go back to, you know, what they planned on, but they know they're going to be okay. Like, they're not going to die in the crash. They're going to get married to each other. They're going to have kids. They're going to found this new community. Like, it's not going to be the life they expected, but it's going to be a life, and it's not going to be, you know, like a hellish nightmare existence, right? It's just, what do you want? You know, what do you want for yourself? And if they choose what's best for them and what's best for Kira, because she's the only one who's actually going to die in the near future, then all of these other people's lives will be, you know, will be literally destroyed, will be erased. You know, and that's the choice. So, and I do think, I mean, I don't know, I like Yedrin. I like the other Dax. I think he's,
I like the other Dax.
I think, yeah, his performance, the actor's performance is really good. And I like the little character arc. They give the little reveal where it's like he feels responsible because he used to be Jadzia, and Jadzia was the one who sort of bullied them into coming to this planet in the first place. And, you know, I like that. I like that. But yeah, and I like Daddy Odo. I think he's a great character. I mean, I think I love his sadness. I love, you know, this, and the fact that, like, what he does at the end is simultaneously selfish and selfless, which is a really neat trick to pull for a character. Like, he knowingly does something that will erase his own existence so that Kira will live, but it will also erase the existence of everybody else that he knows on that planet for Kira. Like, so it's, you know, it's not a, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's very much like what Troy wasn't willing to do, you know, send who was it?
Well, Geordi. Yeah.
Geordi,
well, holographic Geordi. Holographic Geordi.
Right. Holographic. Yeah. But no, that's why it was affecting her.
But
to her it was sending Geordi off, because
right.
That's how she interpreted it. Yeah. I mean, she wasn't able to go, you know, it's a simulation, screw it. You know, she was not able to distance herself in that way, and to send him off to die. And that's the role of an officer in battle. That's what you do. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah. So what that means is Odo's good officer material.
I'll kill some people. You leave it up to me. I'll kill some people. I will make some tough decisions.
I got you. So yeah. But yeah, I just didn't.
No, I mean, I really like this episode. I wouldn't quite put it on my very top tier of DS9 episodes, but it's close. Like, I really like this episode. And I mean, again, like, I like that it doesn't cheat. Like, the characters are forced to make a choice, and they make a choice, and they make sort of the noble, selfless choice, and then it's kind of taken out of their hands, and the thing that they decided they didn't want to happen happens anyway. I really like it.
Do they really make the noble, selfless choice? Because they think they're going to get what they want.
Well, yes, but what they want is to not go back to their lives, and to allow the 8,000. Oh, and I'll tell one other thing.
Oh, okay. You weren't talking about when
the choice they make at the end.
The
choice they make
right
at the end.
Yes,
the choice to go back and found the colony. But no, and I love, and it really hits me when I watch it subsequently. I mean, I think you get it after the fact if you think about it, if you've just seen the episode once, but you know, if you've seen the episode multiple times, when they say their farewells to everybody at the end, before they go back to the Defiant for the last time, that's such a poignant scene for me, because the Defiant, like our heroes, the main characters, they know that they're never going to see these people again, no matter what, but they think they're saying goodbye, knowing that after they leave, these people are still going to be here. because they're going back in time
Right.
to fulfill the history.
They're not going to see them again.
Yeah, they're not going to see them again, but they're still going to be there. And then, so they say goodbye on that basis. And then when they escape and the colony is gone, like there's no moment of final farewell. Like it's just gone. It's like it's instantaneous. It's not, they don't, I mean, because again, you know, there have been time travel stories, and even Star Trek has done this from time to time, where like the timeline changes, but it takes a little bit for it to catch up to itself. So like they're, you know, maybe they have a few minutes before everything erases where they can say goodbye, or they can, you know, and they don't, the episode does none of that. It's like as soon as they escape and they didn't continue the time loop, the whole place is gone. It never existed. And so they don't have any kind of closure. Like they left with the promise of, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to make sure you guys are all still going to be here. And then that doesn't happen, and there's nothing they can do about it. And I really like that. I really like that. So
yeah.
Any final thoughts?
That is an I will accept it.
Okay.
I just, you know, they had made the sacrifice, and then it's changed for them, and they were just like, they didn't really have much processing of it because they couldn't, because it was time for the end of the episode. So I mean, the episode itself, what's interesting to me is the episode itself is a time shenanigans, because a lot of my issues with it are because of the time constraints of an episode, if that makes sense.
Sure. No,
like
yeah.
it's you know, the beats, it has to hit this beat here, and that's part of the fact that it just marches on through. Is part of what I'm not displeased with, but I'm just part of why I'm just like, okay, you know.
Well, and also, I mean, not only are the characters forced to make a choice, but I mean, clearly the writers made choices here too. And they decide, and because you're right, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different ways the episode could have gone. There are a lot of issues that are potentially raised by the situation that the episode either just kind of touches on lightly or doesn't address at all. And I think the writers of the episode decided, okay, there are 1,000 different ways we could go with this. We're going this way.
Yep.
And that's why they, you know, because people in the chat have mentioned, and you mentioned it too. Like, well, now, you know, if they go back in time this time, how is it going to be exactly the same? Because they've met their descendants, and presumably that didn't happen before. And, you know, there's all kinds of questions that the episode just doesn't address, because that's not they have an hour. They have an hour, and they decided, we're not telling that story.
Yep.
We're telling this story.
Yep.
And, you know, and so it's not a problem for me. Yeah, it's not a problem for me. And I'm, you know, and I'm glad that, because whenever we're reviewing an episode, or when I'm reviewing an episode even, and I talk about like how it has a lot of stuff going on, and it packs a lot into an hour, and there are a bunch of other alternate ways it could have gone that it didn't. You know, there's always someone that says, well, maybe it should have been a two-parter. No. Just because a story has unexplored angles that might have been interesting doesn't mean it should have been a two-parter.
Way, but you know, adding more time is this. And you don't necessarily have that. You know, if you go out to this, you end up just feeling bloated, like a Victor Hugo novel, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, you don't, and you know, like, I mean, writing is making choices. And go ahead.
So question, does Kira rat out Odo?
You know, I don't think it ever comes up, but I feel like that's the kind of thing that she would just keep to herself so that she can hold over him in arguments.
Does this, like, does the resentment carry through?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Not surprised. I don't think so. But yeah, that was, yeah. So yeah, tis what tis.
And again, yeah, but again, you know, I feel like the tension is the point. I feel like, you know, the episode leaves us on that note with Kira and Odo, where Kira now is stuck with this sort of, oh, this happened indirectly because of me, not because of any choice that she made, but because of the other Odos feelings for her and commitment to her and yearning to not have her die and have her go on and live, a life. So, she feels responsible for it, even though she's not really responsible for it. She's involved in the decision that was made.
Yeah.
And I mean, just imagine feeling that way in real life. Like and it leaves her at that moment of tension. And therefore it leaves us at that moment of tension. And I feel like that's the point. And the fact that it doesn't come up again in subsequent episodes isn't really a problem for me, because the point is to leave it at that moment of, holy shit, what am I even supposed to do with this?
So shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, you ready to wrap it? So we're gonna skip Wordmaster again, because Dana, as she talked about earlier, has had a long day. And we've talked about the episode a good bit. So
So don't forget to look down in the description. Do you still have like your organizations and stuff that could use some support in there?
Awesome. I do. And charitylinks.page as always.
Yeah, that one that I was gonna say, but you beat me to it.
I'm sorry.
That has information. That's okay. As long as we talk about it. That has information for friends and associates of ours who could use some financial help. So if you have the wherewithal to do so, check it out down there. Also, don't forget to come back on Friday.
You got it.
Friday 6 p.m. is going to be this week's the next Ask Away. So if you are a channel member or a patron, check your email, and if you haven't already sent in your question, like I haven't sent in a question, send in a question to Steve, and crack that whip, make him say what you tell him to say on the air live, and we will.
I love that that's how you. I love that that's how you interpret it. You can make Steve say whatever you want.
Yes, you are but our puppet for those couple of minutes on every other Friday. So and then of course please join us Friday 6 p.m. and watch the puppet talk, and then of course he'll hang around afterwards and hang out with us, and we'll get the next stuffy short. Woohoo!
That's right.
And then of course next Wednesday right here 6 p.m. we're going to be watching Poirot again.
That's right. We are watching Poirot next. Would you like to know which episode of Poirot we're watching?
Yes, please. What are we watching?
So next week we are watching The Underdog.
Ooh. I don't think I know that one.
That one doesn't ring a bell?
It really does not. So is the link to that one?
It's not in the description of this stream, but I'm going to set up next week's stream like as soon as we're done here, so it will be linked in the description for that. So you'll have, if you're interested, you'll be able to find that on my YouTube channel and have Although I will say I downloaded it today from the Internet Archive via the same link that I'm going to put in the description, and it downloaded pretty quick. So
awesome.
So fingers crossed. Hopefully, it'll be a quick download.
It'll go smoothly for everybody. And then yes, if you are not already, you darn well ought to be subscribed to the channel at least, because ain't no cost to that. And then right, you will be able to see the link on the description to the next live stream for us. So is that everything? I think that's everything.
I believe that is everything.
If you are not yet a patron or a channel member, there's a button over here somewhere that you can click to join the channel, or you can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives and you can join there. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Everybody wins. It's just like this episode, except it actually works. You get both.
Fantastic.
I was like, just tie it all together. Oh, so good. I should have my own YouTube channel.
You should.
I should put some stuff on there.
You should call it youtube.com/Dana Coldares. That would be a really nice.
I should put some videos on there. Maybe one day.
To be fair, I'm still sitting on at least one of yours that I haven't edited yet.
So it's just one. This is not a sentence. Yep. I'm sitting on a video that I'm gonna do common and proper nouns. I'm gonna do it eventually. That's the next one.
I believe you.
At least one of us does. Thanks so
All
much
right.
for being here, everybody.
We'll see you next. I'll see you Friday, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.